Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, for 1 year as we read through St. Faustina's diary. Join me, Amy Thomas, each day for a short reading out of the diary which brought us a deeper understanding of Christ's divine mercy. Hello, Catholic pilgrims, and welcome to day 325 of our readings from St. Faustina's diary. Today, Christ is going to tell Sister Faustina that he needs her sufferings to rescue souls, and she is going to go through some hard times. She's going to be very, very physically ill, and then she's going to have several people come to her in need of her advice, recognizing that she is a very holy person and they're in need of her help. And so she is working really hard to rescue souls. This is also our calling as well as Catholics, is to help rescue souls. We may not go through what Sister Faustina goes through, but we can definitely offer up our sufferings. So that's what we're going to talk about today in Notebook 6, numbers 1612 through 1616. February 20th, 1938. Today the Lord said to me, I have need of your sufferings to rescue souls. O my Jesus, do with me as you please. I did not have the courage to ask the Lord Jesus for greater sufferings because I had suffered so much the night before that I would not have been able to bear a drop more than what Jesus himself gave me. Almost at night, I had such violent pains that it seemed all my intestines were torn to pieces. I threw up the medicine I had taken. When I bowed my head down to the ground, I lost consciousness, and I stayed like that for some time with my head on the floor. When I came to, I became aware that my whole body was pressing on my head and face, and that I was covered with vomit. I thought it would be the end of me. Dear Mother Superior Irene and Sister Tarcisia were trying to help me as best they could. Jesus demanded suffering, but not death. Oh, my Jesus, do with me as you please. Only give me strength to suffer. Since your strength supports me, I shall bear everything. Oh, souls, how I love you. Today, one of the sisters, probably Sister Amelia, came to see me and said, Sister, I have a strange feeling as though something were telling me to come to you and commend to you certain problems of mine before you die, and that perhaps you will be able to beseech the Lord Jesus and arrange these things for me. Something keeps telling me that you will be able to obtain this for me. I answered her with equal frankness that, yes, I felt in my soul that after my death, I would be able to obtain more from the Lord Jesus than at the present time. I will remember you, sister, before his throne. When I entered the neighboring dormitory to visit the sisters who were ill, one of them said to me, Sister, when you die, I will not fear you at all. Come to me after you die, because I want to confide to you a secret concerning my soul, something I want you to settle for me with the Lord Jesus. I know you can obtain this from him. Because she was speaking in public, I answered her in this way. The Lord Jesus is very discreet, and so he never betrays to anyone a secret that is between him and a soul. O my Lord, thank you for conforming me to yourself through immolation. I see that this earthly vessel is beginning to crumble. I rejoice in this because soon I will be in my Father's house. Wow, the frankness of the two sisters that come to her today. Hey, remember me when you die. I know you're getting ready to die. Could you please remember me? I don't mind if you come back as a spirit because I want to talk to you about something. Whew, that has to make you feel kind of good, weird. I don't know. I don't know how I would respond if someone was like, hey, I know you're getting ready to die. By the way, when you get before God, would you mind? So anyway, we see here today that Sister Faustina is suffering greatly. The Lord has asked her to suffer, and he tells her that he needs her sufferings in order to save souls. And we read through Numbers 16:13, and man, you feel for her. She's vomiting. She can't get any rest. She loses consciousness. She's just, barely hanging on. She really feels like the end is near. And God says, no, not death. I need these sufferings. Sister Faustina has been selected for this very particular mission. She has a very intimate connection with Christ, being a mystic and all that. So there's another level to her connection with Christ. And so he asks more of her than maybe he would somebody who doesn't have this same level. But we all do suffer. Obviously, we know this with sickness or bad things that happen in our lives. Just everyday things that we have to do that kind of get drab or boring, or we just don't want to do them. We can offer those things up for others. Again, I've talked about this before. This was not something that was ever talked about when I was a Protestant. The fact that we can use our sufferings for good, that we can point them towards the good of someone else, that we can take this suffering on so that graces may be given to another soul. So how do we go about doing this? Well, if you're sick, sometimes when you're sick, you're lying in bed, you're not doing anything, especially if you have a chronic disease and maybe you're in the hospital for a very long time, or you're at home and there's not a lot that you can do. I'm sure that time goes by slowly. You tend to get restless and, bored, possibly even while you're just waiting to heal or waiting for medicines to work or whatever it is. Each day, we can offer that day, that suffering of the day, for a soul. I mean, just pick a soul that you know is in dire need of grace. And just say, Lord, I want to offer this day's suffering that is hard for me because the loneliness is hard, the pain is hard, just the waiting around is hard, but I'm willing to bear it if it will help another. And so just offer it up for that person and think of them throughout the day. Whenever it gets a little difficult, just remind yourself, I'm doing this for John, or I'm doing this for Sarah, or whoever it is in your life. And I promise you, it will help the suffering become bearable. The other day, my daughter and I were working out at some soccer fields, and she's trying to keep up her cross-country endurance for track starts. And so I've been working out with her because it's good for the mom to work out with the young gal. And we were running 400s. And I was a 400 runner in high school. I haven't been a 400 runner in a long, long time. However, it was my favorite race, and it's a very hard race. We weren't running our 400s at full speed or anything like that, but I haven't just consistently run them for a very long time. So my daughter was going to run 10 of them at her race pace, and then I was supposed to run 8 of them at a certain pace. And so the first one, got that one down. Okay, 7 more to go. And it was a little chilly outside, and it's been a while. My body wasn't quite used to running 400s at a certain pace. I wanted to make sure I hit my mark every time, so I couldn't slow down. And on about the third and the fourth, just the thoughts started creeping into my head. And I was like, Amy, just slow down. You don't need to go this fast. What are you preparing for? You don't need to prepare for anything. Your daughter's preparing for something, but you aren't. You're just out here. So take it easy. And I hate it when those thoughts come into my head because it's always of the devil, and he's just trying to weaken us. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to be a good example to my daughter that, I can, do what she's asked of me and be a part of, her workout. And so it was causing a minimal amount of suffering, on a scale of 1 to 10. It was uncomfortable, and I wasn't particularly enjoying it. And so I was like, you know what? I got to start offering these up. I got to start offering these up for people that I know need prayers. And so, just each 400, offer it up for somebody, and it makes it go so much better. Doesn't mean it's not hard, but it now has a real direct purpose, and it kind of lightens the load in a way. And before you know it, it's over and you've just offered something for several people. And that's just a really great thing. And we can do this with so many things. Chores around the house. I think I've talked about this before. I hate when we move, having to clean the rooms of the house that we're leaving. I just despise it. Because once I'm done with the house, I'm just like, I'm done with the house. I don't want to clean it sparkly clean. And so what I do is I go into each room and I offer prayers and I offer each room as an intention for people. And it really, really helps me get through it with a positive attitude because I know it's for a greater purpose. So don't let the suffering in your life just go to waste. That's so often what we do with suffering. We just try to bear down and deal with it. And instead, we can use it for a greater good. We may not see the result of that offering right away. And so we have to be patient and we have to recognize that God will use it in the best way. But the fact that we're offering it does a world of good for us and for others. So that is all for today, Catholic Pilgrims. I will see you back here for day 326. And until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.